Hello everyone, welcome to Informational Compass. It's a bright new morning and let's get started. Today we are going to solve the questions from Edexcel GCSE June 2020 Higher Non-Calculator Maths Past Paper. Yes, so the main highlights are the subject is Mathematics, it's paper 1, Non-Calculative, Higher Tier. So the total marks for this paper is going to be 80. So yes, let's get started. Starting with question 1. I'll read out the question loudly first and then we'll solve it together. All the best. The first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence are 1, 4, 7, 10 and 13. Write down an expression in terms of n for the nth term of the sequence. So here, if we carefully observe, the difference between each of these terms is basically how much? Now you're adding 3 each time, right? So the difference here between each term is 3. And the formula given for the nth term is a plus n minus 1 into d, where a is your first term in the sequence, whereas d is your common difference between each of the terms. So using this formula, we'll just substitute. What is a here? A is basically 1, right? The first term. And the common difference is 3. So that gives you the nth term to be a plus n minus 1 into d. That is 1 plus n minus 1 into d. That is 3. So if we open up these brackets, that is we are expanding, right? We have learned this in algebra already. 3n minus 3 plus 1 minus 3 becomes minus 2. So that's your answer. So yes, 3n minus 2 is your answer for this question. Moving on to our second question. We need to show that the product of these mixed fractions is equal to 8 3 by 4. So the very first step that we'll follow is we'll convert these mixed fractions into improper fractions. So yes, 2 1 over 3 is basically 2 into 3 plus 1 over 3, right? It is just based on the formula. I'll write down the formula for you to refer it later. Q R over D, that is quotient remainder over divisor, that is equal to quotient into divisor plus R, that is remainder upon divisor always. So in order to convert these mixed fractions into improper, you'll have to use this part. So that gives us 7 by 3. Please verify. Similarly, you'll be having 3 over 4 equals 3 into 4 plus 3 over 4. That is equal 15 over 4. Now, we'll just multiply these two. So that gives us 1 over 3 into 3 over 4 is equal to 7 over 3 into 15 over 4. If we carefully observe 3 and 15, they both appear in the table of, they both appear in the table of 3, right? So 3 times 1 and 3 times 5 is 15. So here we get 7 into 5 over 1 into 4. That is equal to 35 over 4. The same thing we need to show in equal to part. So now what we'll do here is, this is a part 1. Now we'll just consider the right hand side. What is the right hand side? 8 3 by 4. So we'll just convert this mixed fraction 8 3 by 4 in an improper fraction in order to verify our answer. So this is 32 plus 3 over 4. That gives us 35 over 4. So yes, are 1 and 2 equal? Yes, absolutely. Because these both are the improper fractions and they are of the same value. So yes, 2 1 over 3 into 3 3 over 4 is equal to 8 3 over 4. We all know what are improper fractions, right? Improper fractions are those kind of fractions wherein the numerator is greater than the denominator. Amazing. Moving on to our next question. Okay, so here we have graphs this time. So the diagram shows 4 graphs, right? So here, graph A, graph B, graph C and graph D. Each of the equations in the table is the equation of one of the graphs. Complete the table. Okay, which means we just need to map. We need to match which equation maps to which graph. Okay. So starting with the very first one. That is y equals minus x cube. Okay, so that is going to be graph B, because yes, it will also include negative values, right? So that being the reason, this is going to be y is equal to minus x cube. So yes, this is our first graph, that is graph B. Now moving on to y is equal to x cube. Y equal to x cube, here we'll just have this part, right? Because we do not have any negative sign. So that is going to be y equals x cube. So this gives us the second equation mapping to graph C. Now we are just left with two of them. Y is equal to x square. X square. X square means the value is always going to be positive, right? Irrespective of whatever your value of the digit is going to be. Even if it is minus 2, so minus 2 square is going to be 4, and even 2 square is going to be 4. So that being the reason, this is going to be y is equal to x square. Great. So here we complete the third part, that is D. Now we are just left with 1. This is y is equal to 1 over x. Yep. Yes, here we are done with this question also. Great. Moving on to our next part. The diagram shows 4 triangles, A, B, C and D. 2 of these triangles are congruent. Write down the letters of these 2 triangles. Okay. So let's observe our 4 triangles. The very first thing, if we are able to see, let's check that are we able to find the measures. That's how, we prove congruence, that the 2 triangles must have equal measures. So they'll be congruent to each other. So in triangle A, we will be able to find out this angle. What will it be? 180 minus these two. So 180 minus 55 and minus 45 will give you 80 degrees. Great. Here that's not possible. Yeah, we will be able to find out an angle here too in triangle D. Again 180 minus 80 and minus 45. That gives you 55 degrees. So if you're able to observe A and D, they have equal angles, that's for sure. And this base, the angle opposite to 80 should be 10. The side opposite to 80 degrees should be 10. Yes, it is. Which means triangle A and D are congruent. So that's our answer. Amazing. Moving on quickly to our next question. Scene pays £10 for 24 chocolate bars. He sells all 24 chocolate bars for 50 pence each. Work out Scene's percentage profit. So the very first thing, let's learn the formula. Let's revise the formula first. So please note this for your future reference too. So the formulas that are being written, please note them down, in a notebook, or you can prepare a cheat sheet so as to revise it before your exams. So profit percentage is equal to selling price minus cost price over cost price into 100. So yes, let's segregate our values now. So now this, what is the cost price here? Cost price here is £10. Now since we have two values, that is one being in pounds and one being in pence. So let's convert everything in pence. So this is going to be 1000 pence. Why? Because 1 pound is equal to 100 pence. So you have converted it basically, nothing else. And we have selling price. Selling price for 24 chocolate bars is going to be how much? 24 into 50p. So that is going to be 0, 5 4s are 20, 2, 1200 pence. So that will give us a profit percentage equal to 1200 minus 1000 over 1000 into 100. So let's solve this part. So 1200 minus 1000 is going to be 200 over 1000 into 100. So if we carefully observe this part, we will cancel out the zeros. 1 0, 1 0 cancelled. Another 0 cancelled. And one more cancelled with this one. So that gives you your answer to be 20%, right? Because it is profit percentage. So yes, that's our answer, 20%. I hope that's clear. If in case you have any doubts pertaining to any of the questions, please, put up your doubts in the comment section. I'll definitely reply to them. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe it if you're liking the content that we are discussing right now, and if it's relevant to your study material or to your grade. And also please share it with your friends too. ADC is a triangle wherein we are given the triangle and some parameters. AED and ABC are straight lines. EB is parallel to DC. Angle EBC is 148. Angle ADC is 63. Work out the size of angle EAB. EAB means this one, I believe. AB, yes. This one needs to be worked out. Okay. You must give a reason for each stage of your working. Okay. Okay, so our approach here should be basically what we'll do in order to find out this unknown angle, that is EAB. We'll have to find out these two angles, that is this one and this one. That is angle AEB and angle ABE, in order to find out the third unknown part. Why? Based on the sum of all angles in a triangle is 180. This is the approach that we are going to use. So yes, let's get started. Okay. So given EB is parallel to DC. This implies angle EDC is equal to angle AEB, which is equal to 63 degrees. This one. Let me just come back to the part. So it is AEB, this one, and angle EDC, this one. So these both are corresponding angles, right? So let's just write this down. Why is it so? Just because these are corresponding angles. So here we have got one angle. Now we are just left with angle ABE. Now the next part. Here angle ABE plus angle EBC. EBC. I hope you're keeping that figure in your reference, because it's not possible each time to scroll up. So they form a straight angle. Yeah, angles on a straight line add up to 180 degree. I'll just write down straight angle for your reference. So this will give you angle ABE plus measure of angle EBC is already given to you. That is how much? 148. So 148 degrees is equal to 180 degree. This implies your angle ABE will be simply subtract. This will give you your measure of angle ABE equals 180 degree minus 148 degrees. That is how much? 32 degrees. So yes, we have got both the angles. Now it's just the last part. Sum of all angles in a triangle add up to 180 degree, right? Let me just write this down. Sum of all angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So this will give us angle AEB plus angle ABE is done, angle EBA plus angle EAB. EAB is equal to 180 degrees. So that will give you 63 degrees plus 32 degrees plus angle EAB equals 180 degree. If you add this up, you must get 95 degrees. Angle EAB equals 180 degree. That gives you angle EAB equal to 180 minus 95. I'm writing down each and every step for you to, understand, the basic part 2. I don't want you to commit any silly mistakes in your final paper. So that is 85 degrees. So that is going to be your answer. I hope that's clear. Any doubts? Okay. Moving on to our next part, that is the table shows information about the heights in centimeters of a group of year 9 girls. So this is the table containing least height, median, greatest height. The stem and leaf diagram shows information about the heights in centimeter of a group of 15 year 9 boys. So this is the stem and leaf diagram, and this is the table that is given for girls, and this is for boys, stem and leaf diagram. There's also a key given to you. Okay, 15, that is the number of boys here, 15, and 8 represents 158 centimeters. Now, so compare the distribution of the heights of the girls with the distribution of the heights of the boys. Yeah, using the range and the median values, we will be able to compare it, So range is basically the difference between the maximum data value and the minimum data value. And median. Median is basically there are two steps in median. Always remember that. The very first step is you'll have to arrange the data given to you in ascending order from smallest to largest, and then you'll have to find out which number lies at this position. N plus 1 over 2 position. Why have we chosen this one? Because your value of n is 15. That is odd number. Okay, for boys. So now let's get started. Let's calculate the range and median. So the very first thing, for boys, let's calculate both. Range. Okay. So for example, here if it is 8, which means 158. If it is 4, so it is 164, and so on. Okay. So now what is the highest value for range? It should be 182. Right. So I'll write it down, 182 minus what will be the minimum value? 158. So this subtraction will give you 24 what? Centimeters. Yeah, based on this part, centimeters. This is done with range. Now let's calculate median. Again, I'll request you to please keep that table handy, because it won't be possible to each time scroll back. Median. Median for boys, again, it is going to be 15 plus 1 over 2th position. So that is going to be 16 over 2th position. That is 8th position. So now you just need to count which number lies at the 8th part. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. So that is going to be 168, right? Because these are already in ascending, in order, in ascending order. So that is going to be 168. I'll write this down here. What? Centimeters. Now moving on to girls. For girls, I'm just extending it here. For girls, your range is going to be, we already have the median. Yes, let me write that down too. So if we come back to the table, median is 165 centimeters. So I'll just write down 165 centimeters. And now moving on to the range part. Range means greatest value minus the least value. That is 170 centimeter and 150 centimeter. Just take the subtraction, you'll get your answer. So that is going to be 170 minus 150, that is 20 centimeter. Now what was our objective? We had to compare the distribution of the heights of the girls with the distribution of the heights of the boys. So just consider these values. If you carefully observe, for girls, the median height is less than the median height of boys, right? So let's just write this down. So the very first observation is median height for girls, that is how much? 165 centimeters, is less than the median height for boys, That is how much? 168 centimeters. And now let's talk about the range. Range again. Range is also less. So range for girls, that is how much? 20 centimeter is again less than the range for boys. That is how much? 24 centimeter. So yes, you have compared this. This is your final answer. I hope that's clear. I hope you're enjoying the video, you're enjoying the solutions, and you're solving it with me. That's the most important part here. Okay. So yes, the next question is our way. We have completed 7 questions until now. So yeah, we are good to go. Starting with question 8. The diagram shows a prism placed on a horizontal floor. We are also given a formula. Pressure is equal to force upon area. Great. The prism has height 3 meters. Volume of a prism is 18 meter cube. The pressure on the floor due to prism is 75 newtons per meter square. Work out the force exerted by the prism on the floor. So the very first thing here is we are given the volume and we are given the height. Yes. And for pressure, we are given the value of pressure. We need to find out the value of force. So which means we are expected to know the value of area. Yes. So please note that volume of prism is actually area into height. So this will give you the value of area, right? Because we know the other two. Yes, let's solve this. This implies your area of prism is going to be volume of prism over height of prism, that is 18 over 3, which gives you 6. Now coming to the unit part, okay, please pay attention. 18 meter cube and height is 3 meters. So if I hope we have already learned algebra. So A raised to P, yes, upon A raised to Q is basically A raised to P minus Q, which means that this part is going to be, yeah, m cube minus m raised 1, that is going to be m square. Now we have pressure. Pressure is equal to force upon area given, right? So this implies you will be able to find out force using pressure into area. Great. So that gives you pressure equals 75 and area equals 6. Just calculate this, you'll get your answer. It is 6 5s are 30, carry over 3, 450. So your final answer is going to be 450 newtons. Please verify this. Okay. Write down these numbers in order of size. Okay. Starting with the smallest number. Amazing. So yes, this is going to be basically, it is 10 raised 5, which means your value here is going to be 672 and then again 3 zeros. This one is going to be minus 4, right? Which means you are dividing it by 10,000. So that is going to be 2, 7, 6. Here there are 4 zeros, right, in the denominator. So you're going to jump 4 steps backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope we are clear. So that gives us 2 more zeros and this is your number. The next one is 672 into 10 raised to the power of 4. So this is 672 and then 4 zeros. And this one is as it is, no need to do anything here. Now starting with the smallest number, right? We'll go from smallest to the largest part. Yes. So now what is the smallest one here? It can be either this one or this one. So just compare which one is the smallest one. Yes, the last one. Absolutely right. So it is 0.000672. Then this one, right? So that is basically 67.2 into 10 raised minus 4. So this is the first one. This is the second one. Now moving on to a third part. This is the third one and this is the fourth one. So you just need to write down the final answer, 6.72 into 10 raised 5 and 672 into 10 raised 4. Okay, so starting with this one. Given that A over B is equal to 2 over 5 and B over C is equal to 3 over 4, we need to find out A is to B is to C. Starting with multiplying these two fractions. So yes, what do we get? A over B into B over C is equal to 2 over 5 into 3 over 4. Here, we are able to cancel out B and B part. Yes. So that will give us 6 over 20. Yes. Which means A is to C is 6 is to 20. Just write it down in this way. Now, we already have B over C is equal to 3 over 4 and A over B is equal to 2 over 5. Since we need to have A is to B is to C, we'll consider this one. Here what we'll do? We'll multiply and divide A by B, this fraction, by 3. Why is it 3? I'll tell you the reason too. You'll understand this. So A by B into 3 into 3. That will give you, what is A by B actually? 2 over 5. Yes. And this gives us 6 over 15. Are you able to understand this part? Yeah. We had to match this up. That being the reason we multiplied it by 3. So now, this is going to give you A is to B equals 6 over 15. So using this one and this one, what do you get? You'll be getting A is to B is to C equals 6 over is to 15 is to how much? 20. So that's your answer. 6 is to 15 is to 20 is the answer. Okay. Find the value of, and it's under the radical sign to the power of 4, 81 into 10 raised 8. Okay. So here, we'll first have this one written 81 into 10 raised 8 and this is to the power of 4. So what times 4 will give you 8? 2 times, right? So this is our first step. I'm writing down 10 raised to the power of 2 raised to 4. Why is it so? I'll tell you. A raised to m raised to n is basically A raised to m into n. Yes, I hope that suffices this doubt of yours. Now 81. What number raised to the power of 4 will give you 81? So if you carefully observe, 3 raised to the power of 4 is 81. I'll suggest, start with learning the squares, cubes, and you will subsequently understand the logic that why I could get 3 raised to 4 is equal to 81 really quickly. So please practice squares and cubes. That will help you out in solving the questions really quickly. I'll write down 3 raised to 4. And this is under the radical sign of 4 already. Great. So now what we can do based on this part, we can again write it as 3 into 10 square raised to 4. So this 4 and this radical signs 4 gets cancelled. We'll get 3 into 10 square, that is 3 into 100, which is how much? 300. That is your final answer. I hope you're solving these questions along with me. Moving on to our next part, B part. Find the value of 64 raised minus half. So we know a raised to minus p is 1 upon a raised to p. Please remember that. So which means this 64 raised minus half is basically 1 upon 64 raised half. Now what is half? Half is basically, the square root. 1 upon this is 64, which means any power here is basically a raised 1 over n. Okay. So that being the reason, this is square. So this is square root, right? And we do not write 2 because we already know this is square root. So what is the square root of 64? Yes. So it is going to be square root of 64 can be anything, plus 8 or minus 8. Am I right? So yes, you'll write it down 1 over 8 or minus 1 over 8. So that is your answer. Moving on to our next question. Write 3 raised n upon 9 raised n minus 1 as a power of 3. The very first thing here you need to know is a raised to m upon a raised to n. That is the same basis. However, different powers is equal to a raised to m minus n. Why did I write it? Because we need to convert everything in terms of 3, the power of 3. That is our objective for this question. So here, I'll start with this part, 3 raised n over 9 raised n minus 1. It can be written as 3 raised n as it is, and I can write 9 as 3 square. Yes, and this outside bracket will give me n minus 1. I'll open this bracket. So this is 3 2n minus 2. Now I can bring this above. Why? Because I have the same base. So n minus, and I have this part 2n minus 2. I'm opening these brackets. Please pay attention. This might seem a bit complex, but it is not at all complex. Just pay attention to the signs, you'll understand. Minus into minus is going to be plus 2, okay? So now, what do you get here? You'll get 3. I'll write down 2 first because this will give you a negative number. N minus 2n is minus n. So that is your answer. And you're done with this part. Here, there are tables given to us. The table gives information about the weekly wages of 80 people. Okay, and then you need to complete the cumulative frequency table. So I'll request you to please keep that table handy, because yeah, it will be a bit inconvenient for us to keep on scrolling each and every time. So the very first thing, cumulative is basically the addition of frequencies in each step. We'll start with 5. Okay, so let me just help you out with this one. This is 5. Now the next step is going to be 5 plus 10. 5 plus 10. That is how much? 15. Very good. Now the next one is going to be 5 plus 10 plus 20, which means 15 plus 20. I hope you are understanding. The previous one plus the present one frequency. That will give you your answer. So 15 plus 20 is going to be 35. Now 35 plus 20. That is going to be 55. Very good. 55 plus 15 is going to be how much? 70. And then 70 plus last one, 10, is going to be 80. So here you complete your cumulative frequency. On the grid opposite, draw cumulative frequency graph for your completed table between 200 and 250. So here what we'll do is we'll consider the frequency and the wage, and wage we'll consider in such a way that the right side part, for example, if this is my table, I'm going to consider this value, that is 250, and on 250 I'll map the frequency 5. Okay, we are going to use this part. Okay, frequency, cumulative frequency table, these values for the graph. Okay, so these values. Let me just start with this. Pretty easy, don't worry. So 250 and we have 5. Marking this. This is our first point. Then what will be our second point? Just keep on referring the table. I believe it is going to be 315. Yes, 315. And we are going to have 350 and 35. 350 and 35. Then we'll have 455. 455. We'll have to scroll a bit above 455. 455, it's going to be somewhere here. Then we are going to have 70. Bit more. Okay. So 450 gives you 70. And the last one is 500, which is going to be 80 directly. 500 is going to be 80 here. Yes. So now let's, draw this curve. This is your first part. John says 60% of this group of people have weekly wage of 360 or less. 60%. Okay. We'll have to understand this using the graph. Yes. Let's come back to the graph. 360. So the very first thing we'll have to find out these. What does 350 to 400? Which means 2 of them represents. So this is going to be a 360. This will be a 360. Okay, let me use a brighter color. This is going to be a 360. So now if you try and map this, let's check. What I'll do is I'll just use a dotted line here. You can use a ruler and see where does this part somewhat here, which means it is around 40. Yes. The cumulative frequency is 40 for 360. Okay. So what will be a percentage? Percentage will be basically 40 over 80, the total, right? The total cumulative frequency came up to be 80 into 100. So yes, let's check that out. That will give us the percentage. So now, because it's given 60%, let's try and find this out. So using the graph for 360 pounds, you're getting cumulative frequency equal to how much? 40. So this implies your percentage is going to be 40 over 80. 40 over 80 into 100. So that is going to be, you'll just try and cancel out these zeros. Yes, that gives you how much? 50 percentage? 50%. And how much is given? 60 percentage. So 50 percentage people have weekly wage of 360 pounds or less. That is not 60, which means Joan is not correct. Liquid A and liquid B are mixed to make liquid C. Liquid A has a density of 70 kg per meter cube. Liquid A has mass 1400 kg. Liquid B also has some density and volume given. You need to work out the density of liquid C. The very first thing, please note down the formula. Density is equal to mass upon volume. So we need to work out the density of liquid A. So for finding out the density, let's first find out the volume. Yeah, because volume of liquid C is going to be addition of these two volumes, that is liquid A plus liquid B. So volume of liquid C is equal to volume of liquid A plus volume of liquid B. Now, do we know the volume of liquid A? No. However, we will be able to find that out using this formula. So what is going to be a volume of liquid A? It is going to be mass upon density. So what is the mass? 1400. What is the density? 70. Plus the volume of liquid B is already given, 30. So that will be 20 plus 30. You cancel this out, 1400 over 70. So that is 50 meter cube. That is your volume. I hope we are clear. Now you need to find out the mass. Mass again is going to be mass of liquid A plus mass of liquid B. So that is mass of liquid A plus mass of liquid B. That is equal to, what is the mass given for liquid A? It is 1400 kg. I'll just write this down, 1400 plus mass is not given for B, but we will be able to find that out, right? How? Density into volume, right? Based on this formula. So that is going to be 280 into 30. 280 into 30. Yes. So that is 1400 plus, if you multiply this, you'll get 3 8s are 24, 2. Yes, so if you add this up, you'll get 9800 kg. That is 9800 kg. You have got both the values, volume and mass. So what is your density now? Exactly, very good. So density of liquid C is going to be mass of liquid C upon volume of liquid C. Quickly substitute, you will get your answer. So 9800 upon 50. If you try and cancel out the 0, yes, how much? It is 1s are, then 9s are 45 and 6s are kilogram per meter cube. 196 kilogram meter cube is your answer. Quickly, Sally plays 2 games against Martin. In each game, Sally could win, draw or lose. In each game they play, the probability that Sally will win against Martin is 0.3. The probability that Sally will draw against Martin is 0.1. Work out the probability that Sally will win exactly one of the two games against Martin. So basically here there are three outcomes: win, lose or draw. Right? So probability of winning plus probability of draw plus probability of losing the game is 1. It's already given for win and draw. You need to find out for lose. So this implies win is how much? 0.3. Draw is how much? 0.1. P of lose is 1. 2.4 plus. So P of lose, probability of lose is going to be 1 minus 0.4, that is 0.6. Now, what is the probability that Sally will win exactly one of the two games against Martin? So probability of exactly winning one game out of two games is equal to probability of winning into probability of losing plus probability of losing into probability of winning plus probability of winning into probability of draw. And then what are we left with? Just one. Probability of draw and win. Very good. That will give you your answer. So quickly substitute. Probability of win into lose is basically 0.3 into lose is 0.6. Again 0.6 into 0.3 plus she's winning exactly one game. That being the reason I'm right. Win is at least in one of them each time. Understood? So now see here win. Then here in the second game she's winning. In the third one she's winning and the second game is drawn in this way. That being the reason I've used this. Okay. Now probability of winning and probability of draw. Again probability of winning is 0.3. Draw is 0.1 plus 0.1 into 0.3. If you add this up all together, you're going to get your answer to be 0.42. Okay, that's your final answer. I hope that's clear. The straight line L1 has equation y is equal to 3x minus 4. The straight line L2 is perpendicular to L1 and passes through the point 9, 5. Find an equation of line 2. Okay. The general equation of a line is always y is equal to mx plus c. Please remember that. Okay. So now for L1, y is equal to 3x minus 4. So here what is your m? M is 3 if you compare it with this one. And what is m? M is the slope. C is the y-intercept. Okay. So m1. Okay. Because this is line 1. So I'm keeping it as m1. Now slope of line L2. Slope of line L2 will be m2. Right. And it is perpendicular to L1. Which means since it is perpendicular, you will have m1 into m2 is equal to minus 1. Okay. So that will give you m1 into m2 is equal to minus 1. m1 is how much? 3. So this implies your m2 is going to be minus 1 upon 3. So now equation of line L2 is y is equal to mx plus c. So what will be instead of m? Minus 1 upon 3 x plus c. Again, L2 is passing through the point 9, 5, which means x comma y is equal to 9, 5. Yes. So just substitute the value of x comma y to be 9 comma 5, and then you're done. So you'll have y is equal to minus 1 upon 3x plus c. What am I doing? I'm just substituting the value of y, that is 5, equals minus 1 upon 3 into 9 plus c. Yes. So that will give you your value of c equals how much? Just calculate this. So that is, let me just do it for you quickly. So this is going to be 3 ones are 3 threes are 9. So that is 5 equals minus 3 plus c. That means c is equal to 8. And you're done. Now what you're going to do, you're just going to substitute the value of c equals 8 in this equation. So c is equal to minus 1 upon 3x plus 8 is your equation of the line. This is equation of line L2. That is your final answer. Y is equal to minus 1 upon 3x plus 8. And you're done. Okay, so moving on to our next question, question 16. Shirley wants to find an estimate for the number of bees in her hive. On Monday, she catches 90 of the bees. She puts a mark on each bee and returns them to her hive. On Tuesday, she catches 120 of the bees. She finds that 20 of these bees have been marked. Work out an estimate for the total number of bees in her hive. Let the total number of bees be bees dx. So 20 over 120 is equal to 90 over x. So that will give you the value of x to be 90 into 120 over 20. Calculate this, you'll get your answer. So that will be 0, 0 cancel, 2 ones are 2, 2 6 are 12, right? So that is going to be 90 into 6, that is 540. So that is your answer. Okay, now moving on to the next question. Shirley assumes that none of the marks had rubbed off between Monday and Tuesday. If Shirley's assumption is wrong, explain what effect this would have on your answer to part A. Okay, so like if the marks would, if her assumption is wrong, which means if her assumption is wrong, which means the marks were marked off, right? Marks were rubbed off. So if they were rubbed off, which means Shirley has overestimated the number of heaves, right? Which implies Shirley has overestimated the total number of bees in the hive. Okay, so here we complete this question. Moving on to our next one. Make f the subject of the formula E is equal to this. Okay, which means you need to, what does making subject means? You'll have f is equal to something. Okay, so as to do that, let's get started. I'll first write down D is equal to 3 into 1 minus f over f minus 4. We will first move this part. Let me just use a different color. We'll move this part towards this side, which means you are multiplying it, right? So that being the reason, you'll have D into f minus 4 is equal to 3 into 1 minus f. Just open up the bracket. So this is df minus 4d equals 3 minus 3f. Right? Now we'll just bring upon the like terms together. So 3f shifts here. So it becomes plus 3f, and I'm shifting 4d to the other side. Since it is minus 4d, it becomes plus 4d. So you are grouping the like terms, collecting the like terms. Yeah. Now, here, if I take f common, this will give me d plus 3 equals 3 plus 4d. We are going to shift this one because we just want f equals something, right? Towards this side. And since it is multiplication, f into something, right? So that being the reason, this will go into division part. That is in the denominator. So yes, this is your answer. F is equal to 3 plus 4d upon d plus 3. You have made f the subject of the formula. X is proportional to square root of y, where y is greater than 0. Y is increased by 44%. Work out the percentage increase in x. Okay. X is proportional to square root of y, which means you'll write it down in such a way. However, this proportional sign cannot be written always. You'll have to write it down as x is equal to square root of y. And since you're writing down equal to, you should have some proportionality constant. That is k. So where k is proportionality constant. So y is increased by 44%. Y is increased by 44%, which means your multiplier is going to be 1 whole plus 44 over 100. That is 1 plus 0.44. That is 1.44. This means your x is equal to k into 1.44y. Yeah, because x is proportional to y. So if y increases, x will also increase by this much amount. Now what do we need to find out? We need to find out the percentage increase. So percentage increase in x is going to be what? The new cost, the new value, that is k into 1.44y minus the original value k into root y over the original value again into 100. That is what we do, right? So yes, let's solve this. So if you carefully observe, can we cancel out k from everywhere? Yes, by taking out k, you can cancel it out. Yeah, you're taking k common everywhere. That's the rule of algebra. So that will give you, yes, that will leave you with under root 1.44y minus under root y upon root y. Again, this one can be written as square root of 1.44 and square root of y minus square root of y upon square root of y, which means we are again able to cancel out square root of y also from all of them by taking out root y common from the numerator, and you can cancel it out. So you're just left with, please carefully understand, this is going to be 1.44 minus 1, yes, into 100. What is square root of 1.44? Guess. It is 12 square, right? 12 square is 144. So this is going to be 1.2 minus 1 into 100. That is 0.2 into 100. That is how much? 20%. That is your percentage increase in x. I hope you have understood. Any doubts? If in case you have any doubts, just put it in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Question 19. F and g are the functions such that f of x is equal to 12 over root x and g of x is equal to 3 into 2x plus 1. Find out the value of g of 5. It's pretty simple. What you need to do, given that g of x is 3 into 2x plus 1. So instead, wherever you are finding out x, just put 5. That's it. So that will give you g of 5 is equal to 3 into 2 into 5 plus 1. That is 3 into 10 plus 1. That is 3 into 11, 33. That is your answer. Now moving on to our this part. Okay. You have to find out g of f of 9. Okay. So like if you'll in your higher grades you'll learn. So this is known as composite functions. So we already have f of x. What do we have f of x as? 12 over root x. So you'll first find out f of 9. Yeah. And then you'll substitute whatever value you'll get, you'll keep it as g of x. So instead of x, you'll keep that value. Yes. So let me just write this down as g of f of x is equal to 3. What do we have of g of x? 3, 2x plus 1. So instead of x, we are having f of x, right? So now what you'll do, you'll write down, instead of x, you'll write 12 over root x plus 1. So yes, you just need to find this value out. So 2 g of f of 9. So 2 into 12 over root 9 now. Instead of x, you're putting root 9 plus 1. Yes. So that will give you 3 into 2 into 12 over 3. Yes, the square root plus 1. So now just multiply this. You'll get 2 into 4 plus 1. That is 3 into 8 plus 1. 3 into 9, that is 27. This is your answer, 27. Find g inverse of 6. So we have g of x is equal to 3, 2x plus 1. Let g of x be equal to y. So this implies y is equal to 3 into 2x plus 1. What we'll have here is, I'll keep y upon 3 is equal to 2x plus 1. This means 2x is equal to y upon 3 minus 1. This means x is going to be y upon 6 minus half. G inverse of x is equal to, okay, here what we'll do, we'll keep the denominators common, that is 6. So in order to make this as 6, what are you going to do? You're going to multiply it by 3. So that is going to be y minus 3. This is just for our simplicity, okay? So g inverse of x will be x minus 3 over 6. And what do we need to find out? G inverse of 6. Instead of x, you'll put 6 everywhere. 6 minus 3 upon 6, that is how much? 3 over 6, that is equal to how much? Half. That is your answer. Show that this value can be written in the form of a plus root 5 upon b, where a and b are integers. Okay. So the very first thing, let's try and understand the value this has been given. So I'll just write it down for us. 180 minus 2 root 5 over 5 root 5 minus 5. So here if we carefully observe, we are able to, further simplify root 180. Yes, we can. Root 180 is basically 36 into 5 minus 2 root 5 over 5 root 5 minus 5. So what is 36? We can bring it out. It becomes 6 root 5 minus 2 root 5 upon 5 root 5 minus 5. Yes, if you carefully observe this part, 6 root 5 minus 2 root 5 is equal to 4 root 5 over 5 root 5 minus 5. We cannot do anything in the denominator right now. Now, whenever, please remember that, whenever you have root sign, the radical sign in your denominator, you always have to rationalize. You always have to rationalize the denominator. So, in order to eliminate this radical sign, rationalize the denominator. And how do we do that? I'll tell you. So it is 4 root 5 over 5 root 5 minus 5. You'll multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 5 root 5 5. This is the same thing. Just instead of minus, you'll put plus. So yes, let's solve this. So here, if you carefully observe, I'll write down 4 root 5 into 5 root 5 plus 5. And this one is, if you carefully observe, this one is a minus b into a plus b. Right? Which is basically a square minus b square. Yeah, please try and recall your algebra identities, everything. So this will give you 5 root 5 whole square minus 5 square. So 4 root 5 into 5 root 5 plus 4 root 5 into 5 whole upon 5 square. Yes, into root 5 square is basically 5 minus 5 square. Okay, so let's solve this. 4 into 5 is 20. 20 into root 5 is 5 plus this is 20 root 5 over this is going to be 125 minus 25. I hope you're verifying the steps while I'm solving. Yeah. So this is going to be 100 plus 20 root 5 upon 100. Separating the denominators. Separating the denominators, what are you going to get? You will get 100 over 100 plus 20 root 5 over 100. So this is going to be 1 plus 21s are 20, 25s are. So this is going to be root 5 over 5. Yeah. And what was the form that we had expected? A plus root 5 upon B. Please just check this out. A plus root 5 upon B. Framed it as this. So this is done. And where A is 1 and B is 5. This is also done. Okay. Moving on to our next question of the day. Question number 21. Okay, we are starting again with the geometry part. DEF is a triangle. P is the midpoint of FD. Q is the midpoint of DE. Okay, vector FD is equal to A and FE is equal to B. Use a vector method to prove PQ is parallel to FE. PQ, which means this part. I'll request you to please keep the diagram handy. So here in triangle DEF, DEF, DE, vector DE is basically FE minus FD. Yeah. Law of vector addition for triangles. That is equal to B minus A. Yeah, we are given the values of FE and FD. Now, PQ is half of DE based on what? Based on the midpoint part. Q is the midpoint of DE. So this will give you half of B minus A. Yes. Now PQ. PQ is again half. Yes. PQ is half A plus DQ bar. Right. Now, this will give you half A plus what is DQ? Half P minus A. So if you expand this, if you try and, get after opening the brackets, you will have PQ is equal to half of B. Now if PQ is equal to half of B, you'll have PQ bar is equal to FE bar over 2. That is, FE bar is twice of PQ. That is, FE bar is a multiple. If you're carefully observing 2 into something, right? Multiple of PQ. This implies, based on the law, that it should be a multiple. You'll get FE bar is parallel to PQ bar. I hope that's clear. Any doubts pertaining to any of the questions right now? Okay, so now let's start with question number 22. I'll read it out for you. The diagrams show two shaded shapes, A and B. Shape A is formed by removing a sector of a circle with radius 3x minus 1 centimeter from a sector of the circle with radius 5x minus 1 centimeter, which means this part. This radius is going to be 5x minus 1 centimeters. This. Shape B is the circle of diameter 2 minus 2x centimeter. The diameter has been given to you. So what will be the radius? Radius will be diameter upon 2. That gives us 2 minus 2x over 2, which is, I'll take 2 common, 1 minus x over 2. That is equal to 1 minus x. I hope we are clear with this step. For shape B, the area of shape A is equal to area of shape B. Find the value of x. You must show all your working. So the very first thing that you'll observe here is we'll have to find out the area of shape A. That is only this shaded part. Yes, which means we'll have to find out the area of this whole sector. That is right from here up till here, full sector. And then subtract this area, the unshaded area. So that you'll get the remaining shaded portion. So let's consider all the formulae that are going to be required here. Starting with area of circle. So area of circle P. Let's directly get started with this. So area of circle formula is going to be pi r square. Kindly note that down for your revision. Now area of B, which is a circle, that is going to be pi r square. That is pi, and what is the radius here? 1 minus x square. I hope we are clear with this. I'll just write it down as pi 1 minus x square. The reason, let's not get confused with that multiplication sign. Now coming to area of shape A. As I discussed, we'll have to subtract area of that whole sector minus area of the unshaded portion. That will give us the answer for area of shape A. So starting with the working now. Area of sector is equal to theta over 360 degrees into pi r square. So now starting with our solution. So area of shape A is equal to area of the sector whose radius is, with radius equal 5x minus 1 centimeter minus area of that unshaded portion, right? So that unshaded portion is again a sector. If you observe the diagram, I would request to please keep your diagram beside you in order to refer it as we solve. With radius, and what is the radius? It's given in the diagram. Please refer it and tell me Yeah, it is 3x minus 1 centimeters. Great, 3x minus 1 centimeter. Now starting with the solution for area of shape A. So simply substituting for this formula, we have 45 degrees upon 360 degree into pi r square, that is 5x minus 1 whole square, minus again 45 degrees upon 360 degree into pi, but what would be the radius this time? 3x minus 1 whole square. Very good. Now let's quickly find out what is 45 divided by 360. So if you divide it, you are going to get 1 by 8. So 1 by 8 into pi into 5x minus 1 whole square minus 1 by 8 again into pi 3x minus 1 whole square. 45 over 360. If you want, I can show you the working here, the rough part. Let me write it down somewhere here. Yeah, 45 over 360. So the very first thing, I can divide it by 9. So when I divide it by 9, I get 5s are 45 and 40 times 9 is 360. I'll again divide it by 5. So when you'll divide by 5, you'll get 1 over 8. That is the, we are reducing the fraction into its equivalent. So that is 1 by 1 over 8. Now we are done with this part. That is area of shape A, and this is area of shape B. And what is given to us? Area of shape A is equal to area of shape B. Let's equate this. So given, let me use a different color in order to distinguish between the parts. So given area of shape A is equal to area of shape B. Area of shape B. Don't worry, we'll simplify all of this part. Okay, so that gives us 1 over 8 into pi 5x minus 1 whole square minus 1 over 8 into pi 3x minus 1 whole square. That is equal to what? The area of shape B. And what is area of shape B? It is pi 1 minus x whole square. Now what are we going to do? We are going to remove this 1 over 8 into pi common. Yeah, we already know algebra part. Into pi common. So what is left here? 5x minus 1 whole square minus 3x minus 1 whole square equal to pi 1 minus x whole square. Here what you can do? You can divide and multiply. Divide by what? Divide by pi and multiply by what? 8 on both sides. This is what we are going to do here. Both sides. So yes, what you will get here? You're dividing by pi, which means it's, let me write this down. You're dividing it by pi and you're multiplying by 8. Again here you're dividing by pi and multiplying by 8. So this is what you're going to get. Yes, that gives you, this gets cancelled, this gets cancelled, and pi also gets cancelled. So here we are just left with 8 here, right? So what do we get? We get 5x minus 1 whole square minus 3x minus 1 whole square equal to 8 into 1 minus x whole square. Now simply what are we going to do? We are just going to open up the brackets in order to solve it for x, right? So now there's one formula that I want all of you to remember. A minus b whole square, what is it? A square minus 2ab plus b square. If if in case you are still skeptical that how did you get this, I can suggest you one method. What is it? A minus b whole square, which means a minus b is multiplied with itself how many times? 2 times. You just need to expand this bracket by multiplying each term by term. You'll get this answer. Okay, so please remember this formula. It's really important in algebra. So yes, I'm opening up the brackets. Starting with this, a minus b whole square. So starting with 5x whole square minus 2ab, which means 5x into 1. Into 1 is nothing but, I'll write it down for a safer side for you to, not get confused, plus 1 square. 1 square is always going to be 1, right? Minus. Now I'll have to still keep the brackets. Why? Because it's minus. Because, when we'll open up the brackets, the signs will change. So this is 3x whole square minus 2 into 3x into 1 plus 1 square equal to 8, and we have 1 minus x whole square, that is 1 minus 2 into x into 1 plus x square. Now we'll just try and simplify this. 5x whole square is 25x square minus 10x plus 1 minus, this is going to be 9x square minus 6x plus 1 equals 8 into 1 minus 2x plus x square. Now we have 25x square minus 10x plus 1, and here we are opening up the brackets, the sign will change. Minus 9x square plus, because minus into minus is plus, plus 6x minus 1 equal to, here we are again expanding the brackets, that is 8 into 1 is 8. 8 into minus 2x is minus 16x plus 8x square. I hope we are clear with this step. Now if you observe, minus 1 plus 1 gets cancelled and we can group up the like terms. So grouping the like terms, you are going to get 25x square minus 9x square minus 10x plus 6x is equal to 8 minus 16x plus 8x square. That gives you how much? 25 minus 9 is 16x square, I believe. Minus 4x is equal to 8 minus 16x plus 8x square. Now the next step, what we are going to do, we are going to shift all of this towards the left side, this all part. So that gives us 16x square minus 4x, shifting all of this here, that will change the sign. So plus 8 becomes minus 8, plus minus 16x will become plus 16x, and plus 8 square, when comes to the left side, it becomes minus 8x square. That is equal to 0, because nothing is left on the right side. Now we'll just group up the like terms. So while grouping, we'll have 16x square minus 8x square together, minus 4x plus 16x minus 8 is equal to 0. That will give you 8x square plus 12x minus 8 is equal to 0. I hope we are clear with this. Now here we are dividing both the sides by 4. So if we try and divide this, you're going to get 2x square plus, because how are you going to divide? You're going to divide it in this way, plus 12x minus 8 whole upon 4, right? That is equal to 0 upon 4, which is 0 always. So now you're separating the fractions. That is 8x square upon 4, that becomes 2x square. Then again, this is 3x minus 2 equals 0. Now you can find out the factors using any of the methods. For example, here we can use factorization method, wherein we just need to consider the first. Why? We are comparing it with ax square plus bx plus c equals 0. So we just need to consider a and c. So here that is 2 and 2. Let me show you the working somewhere here. So it is 2 into 2, that is 4. Now what do I need to do? How do I need to manipulate the calculation using 4 so as to get 3? So that is going to be 4 minus 1. Right? which basically here the variable that is being used is x. So you'll get 4x minus 1x, that is going to be 3x. So you have got your answer. So that gives you 2x square. Now instead of 3x, what are we going to do? We are going to write down plus 4x minus 1x minus 2 equals 0. So here we have 2x common. That will give you x plus 2. Minus 1 common, again x plus 2 equals 0. Which is 2x minus 1 into x plus 2 equals 0. This implies either 2x minus 1 is equal to 0 or x plus 2 is equal to 0. Which means x is either going to be half or x is going to be minus 2. However, just scroll it a bit down. However, this is not possible. Why? Because length cannot be negative. Length cannot be negative, which means your x value is going to be half. So that's your answer. I hope we are clear with this. Great. Moving on to the last question of this paper. I'll read it out for you. There are 4 types of cards in a game. Each card has a black circle or a white circle or a black triangle or a white triangle. So here there are these cards displayed for you. Number of cards with a black shape is to number of cards with a white shape is 3:5. There's some proportion given to us. Number of cards with a circle is to number of cards with a triangle is 2:7. So here if you observe, the total here is how many parts? 3 plus 5. That is 8 parts. And here 2 plus 7, that is equal to 9 parts. Great. Now you just need to use this information and solve. Express the total number of cards with a black shape as a fraction of total number of cards with a triangle. Black shape with a triangle. So now starting with cards with black shape. We'll first find out this part. With black shape over total cards. The reason why I'm doing this, I'll tell you. Here, the total number of cards is different, 8 and 9, which means we'll have to make them equal, right? We'll have to make them same. So in order to do that, we are following these steps. Cards with black shape is going to be how much? 3, right? 3 upon 3 plus 5. That we already did, right? 3 over 8. Similarly, cards with triangle, that is upon total cards, which is going to be equal to, with a triangle is 7, right? So 7 over what? Guess it. Exactly, 2 plus 7, that is 7 over 9. Awesome. Now if you want to find out the total number of cards with a black shape as a fraction, so what do you need to do? You just need to divide these two. Yeah, you are going to divide 1 by 2. So that gives you, when you divide, let me use a different color. Okay, so cards with black shape over total cards, and you're dividing it by cards with triangle upon total cards, that is going to be 3 over 8 divided by 7 over 9. Whenever we have a fraction which is being divided, what do? We flip the second fraction, right? We flip it as d over c and we replace the division sign by multiplication. So that gives us 3 over 8 into 9 over 7. I hope I'm clear with this. Any doubts? So 3 into 9 is going to be 27. 8 into 7 is going to be 56. Why? A upon B into C upon D is basically A into C over B into D. Right? So yes, that's your final answer. 27 over 56 is the fraction which is needed. I hope you have liked the solutions. We have solved all of the questions, right from question number 1 up till question number 23. So yes, I would request you to kindly subscribe to the channel if you found this, content useful. And yes, here we have completed Pearson Edexcel Level 1, Level 2, GCSE Mathematics Paper 1, Non-Calculator, Higher Tier. So this is June 2020 Non-Calculative Maths past paper. Yes, if you like this, the content, please like the video, click the like button. And if you want more such videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if in case you have any doubts, you can mail to me. The mail ID has been provided in the description of the video. If in case you have any doubts or you want to, book a tutoring session with us,